Hey guys, it's Papa Nasty here, and today I'm doing a video about Lord of the Rings Rise to War. I'm going to specifically be talking about the Evil Commander Azru Khor. Prior to 2.0, he was pretty much never used, but since 2.0 came out, he has found a niche role, where in the campaign Tactics Evolved, Azru Khor is an absolute beast. He is by far the best troop commander for evil. Now, the main reason why he's a great commander is because of his R3 ability here. His R3 ability, the commander's formation unit, so that means it applies only to the unit, not to the commander, has a 50% chance to deal an additional 50% burn damage upon dealing damage. So that means that every time that you attack, when you attack with your unit, you always hit a formation. When you hit a formation, you hit a commander, which gives you a 50% chance to proc the raider ability, and then you also hit the unit, which gives you another 50% chance to proc the raider ability. So each hit that you make, you're getting two 50% chances to proc the raider ability. With Arbalests, you will also have a 20% poison damage hit after your physical hit. So that will give you another two 50% chances to proc the raider ability. If you're using Morgul Arbalests, you also have a 20% chance to get follow-up, which will give you another physical attack for two proc chances and another poison attack for another two proc chances as well. Also, if you are in Tactics Evolved, your Arbalests have access to the skill Dispersion, which before you attack will hit 3 enemy targets for a small amount of physical damage. This gives you another 3 formations that you're hitting, so that's another 6 hits. So in total, each round you are getting between 10 and 14 proc chances with Raider. So even if you don't get the follow-up, you've got a minimum 10 proc chances. 10 proc chances at 50% means that you'll probably proc at least 5, or probably proc 5 chances, and then that'll be 250% burn damage every round that you're issuing, on top of your regular damage from Azruk Khor. In addition to that, how Raider is applied is that in the pre-combat phase, Azruk Khor applies a buff to his formation unit, which will make it trigger this Raider ability. This means that if after this buff has been applied, there are no increases or decreases to the amount of damage that it will inflict. It will always be based on the same stats and the same plus percentages, minus percentages, etc. For how much damage you are dealing. Now, that means that with an ability like Warcry, which is only usually active in the first 3 rounds for plus 20% damage, this will actually affect the Raider ability for the entire duration of combat. So you can get a plus 20% bonus to all of your Raider damage if you use the Warcry set bonus. So that's a great way to deal damage with Azruk Khor. As for equipment, you still do need to deal damage with your troops as well. So you want to be going for your unit attack on each of your items to boost up your damage that you're likely going to deal, and as well you want to be getting your command on your accessory, your helm, and your weapon. So that's how you should gear them. These good items to use. Obviously there's a lot of choice nowadays. Now Azruk Khor he's an absolute beast in Tactics Evolved. As for other formats. So in, for example, Rebuilding Glory or something like that, there is another way to use him, which is that if you don't use Morgul Arbalests, then because you can use his R5 ability then. Because you can't use his R5 ability with Morgul Arbalests because they already have a 20% follow-up ability. As a result, because the unit's follow-up is applied before a commander's skills, you can't use the commander's skill because there's already an existing follow-up ability. But if you use a unit like snipers or Uruk archers, then you can utilize this Corsair of Umbar ability. In each round, this formation, this allied formation ranged unit has a 4 to 40% or 40% chance to gain follow-up, but only deals minimum damage. So that's a 40% follow-up chance every round for a ranged unit, which is a huge buff to your damage for that ranged unit. So this is going to make him one of the best troop commanders that you can use on evil side, I think. So you're getting essentially a 40% damage buff, really. Now with that, you're going to get 40% extra hits, but okay, you're only going to deal minimum damage. However, if you get at least 5 out of 10 points into Warship Captain, then every second round you will heal your unit and you'll remove a debuff. So you should then remove the debuff which causes you to only deal minimum damage. So usually round 2 you'll remove that. So you only do one hit that's at minimum damage, one round of minimum damage, and then on the second round you remove that debuff and you're doing regular damage again. Or of course you remove other debuffs instead that the enemy have applied to you. And with that 40% debuff, you will of course that means 40% more proc chances for raiders. Now, the unit that I recommend using in Rebuilding Glory, etc., is the Uruk Archer. Their base damage is not so high if you compare it to snipers or Morgul Arbalests. That's because they're tier 2. And it's because they have a 30% burn damage that they inflict after they do each regular hit. So that's quite a fair amount of burn damage for starters, but also as well, that's an extra hit. So you're going to get your extra proc chance on your raider. Now you're going to have nowhere near as many procs as what you would have if you were using Dispersion in Tactics Evolved, but if you're in a regular campaign, you don't have access to Dispersion, so this is the best you got. Now Uruk Archers, they do have lower hit points than Morgul Arbalests. They've got 30 rather than 32. It's not a big difference, but they are a little bit weaker defensively. Also, they've only got 16 defense, whereas Morgul Arbalests have 38 defense. That's minus 22 defense. That's quite a lot of defense that they're losing out on. Although, because of how the attack and defense interact, for a lot of offensive units, they will actually cap out their attack anyway, and so they won't actually deal much more damage to you as a result of you not having high defense. Anyway, so this is something that I haven't tried it with the Uruk Archers yet. I think that Uruk Archers would be good, but I haven't actually tested it. So maybe I'll update a video in a couple of weeks' time once I've tested them in the new campaign that I'm going to. But until then, if you've got any feedback or questions, please make a comment. If you like the video, like it. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. Thanks all. I'll catch you later. See you.